Hello and welcome to ABC of News. Today's top story is Prime Minister Modi's visit to China. Narendra Modi's arrival in China after 7 years is not just another diplomatic visit. It is a turning point in Asian geopolitics. For the first time since the 2020 Galwan Valley clashes, where Indian and Chinese soldiers lost their lives, both nations are attempting to reset ties. Modi's visit to Tianjin for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit is layered with symbolism, strategic depth and big power rivalry. In this video, we will break down what led to this historic trip, the details of Modi's meeting with Xi Jinping, the economic and security stakes, and why the world, from Washington to Moscow, is watching closely. Stay tuned till the end because this visit could shape the future of Asia. When Prime Minister Modi landed in Tianjin on August 31, 2025, the world's eyes were on the red carpet welcome. Indian diaspora gathered the Vande Mataram chants and cultural performances, showing how deeply this moment resonated. But beneath the celebration lies a troubled history. Relations between India and China soured dramatically after 2020 Galwan Valley clashes in Ladakh. The brutal hand-to-hand combat killed 20 Indian soldiers and at least 4 Chinese troops, sparking a military standoff that continues to this day, with tens of thousands of troops still deployed along the line of control. For years after Galwan, Modi avoided visiting China, focusing instead of strengthening India's ties with the US, Japan, Australia and Europe. Trade with China continued, but political dialogue froze. That's why this 2025 visit is such a big deal. It signals a willingness to talk again, to rebuild channels of communication, and to explore cooperation even amidst mistrust. Simply put, this is not just Modi's trip to a summit, it's India-China testing whether dialogue can prevent future conflict. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization or the SCO may not grab as many headlines as the G20 or UN, but it is a powerful bloc. Led by China and Russia, it includes India, Pakistan and Central Asian countries. It has become a stage for non-Western powers to coordinate on security, economics and regional stability. This year's summit is specifically significant. Alongside Modi and Xi, Russian President Vladimir Putin also attended. The backdrop is a tense world. US tariffs on India over Russian oil imports, Western sanctions on Russia and China's own trade war with the West. In such an environment, the SCO allows countries like India to balance relations without being seen as completely aligned with either Washington or Beijing. For Modi, the summit is a chance to highlight India's role as a voice of the global South. For Xi, hosting Modi and Putin in Tianjin is a show of solidarity against Western pressure. And for Putin, it's a reminder that Russia is not isolated. So Modi's China visit isn't just about bilateral ties. It's also about navigating a multipolar world where alliances are constantly shifting. The most closely watched moment came when Narendra Modi sat down with Chinese President Xi Jinping for their first bilateral meeting in 5 years. The talks lasted nearly 40 minutes, but the symbolism overweighted the duration. According to Indian officials, Modi stressed the importance of restoring mutual trust and respect, pointing out that together India and China represent nearly 2.8 billion people and must find ways to cooperate. Xi, for his part, welcomed the restart of dialogue and called for stable and constructive relations. The leaders agreed on several practical steps like restoring high-level dialogues between ministers, relaxing visa rules and resuming suspended flights, allowing more pilgrimages like the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, and exploring ways to reduce tensions along the border. Of course, challenges remain. India continues to demand disengagement of Chinese troops from friction point in eastern Ladakh, while Beijing is wary of India's closeness to the US through forums like the Quad. Still, the fact that the two leaders met after years of cold silence is progress in itself. For many analysts, this was less about breakthroughs and more about setting a new tone, a cautious thaw after years of frost. So, what's really at stake here? It's security. India wants China to commit to peace along the Himalayan border. Both sides know another clash like Galwan would be disastrous. Even limited disengagement could ease tensions significantly. It's trade and economics. China is India's largest trading partner, with bilateral trade crossing $135 billion last year. But India faces a massive trade deficit. Talks may open doors for better market access for Indian goods and investment in technology and infrastructure. It's counter-terrorism. Modi highlighted terrorism as a shared concern, especially with instability in Afghanistan and rising attacks in Kashmir. India wants China to stop shielding Pakistan-based terror groups at the UN. It's global diplomacy. With US tariffs straining ties, India is signaling it won't be boxed into one camp. Engaging China keeps India's options open. It's symbolism of dialogue. Beyond politics, the very act of Modi and Xi shaking hands is a message. Dialogue is possible despite differences. This visit does not erase mistrust, but it creates breathing room. And in international relations, sometimes that's the most important step. So then what happens next? Much depends on how both sides follow up. If border talks resume seriously and if troops disengagement takes place in Ladakh, it could mark a turning point. If trade negotiations succeed, businesses on both sides may push for deeper cooperation. And if China genuinely supports India's fight against terrorism, trust could slowly rebuild. However, risks remain. Beijing continues to expand infrastructure in Tibet and along the LSE. India remains wary of China's Belt and Road projects in South Asia, and both countries compete for influence in the Indo-Pacific. Still, this visit is a diplomatic reset. It doesn't solve the problems, but it signals the willingness to manage them. For ordinary Indians and Chinese, this means a chance, however slim, at a more stable future. So there you have it, Prime Minister Modi's landmark visit to China. His first in 7 years. His first since the Galwan clashes. And a trip that could redefine Asian geopolitics. Will this mark the start of a new India-China relationship? Or will old mistrust block process? What do you think? Share your views in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon for more deep dive analysis into global politics. See you in the next video.